Looking back at my days in O&P school and seeing what I would do differently. Today we're making an AFO. Honestly, I'm so grateful I have all of these memories documented, and it's crazy to look back and realize the progress I've made. Alright, so we're starting off with the cast I took of my patient. Isn't it so pretty? I kind of see some plantar flexion, and I don't think the ankle is quite as subtalar neutral. Then I taped the cast together since I had to cut it down the front to take it off the patient. You could have just asked someone to hold the cast for you while you taped it, and it would have been way more efficient. I moved on to splinting the cast, and we do this when there are parts of the cast that are too thin so that the plaster doesn't seep through it. This time I wrapped it all just to be safe, and that was definitely not necessary. I filled in the cast with plaster and left it to dry. Then I moved on to modifying, which is really where your clinical judgment comes in terms of what you saw in your patient and what they need from your device. Hello, that plaster is way too thick and it's not going to stick to your mold. That's also way too many nails for your malleolar buildups. I know you think only one nail will make the mod too pointy, but this many is just not necessary. And then I moved on to evening out my mold. Okay, when using the Shearform tool, you should really try to do long vertical strokes instead of shorter ones like you're doing here. It'll even out the mold more. Added some more plaster to extend the toes so that the foot plate in my AFO goes past the toes. I also added the ankle joint so that the patient can actually have some sagittal movement. After that, I pulled the plastic over my mold and left it to cool off. I drew my trim lines and trimmed out the AFO using a cast saw. You could have trimmed it farther away from your trim lines to give yourself space so you don't end up trimming it too small. Then it was time to fit the AFO on my patient. I don't have any footage of this. Yeah, I remember this. But I used some heat to open up the areas where the patient was feeling discomfort. I also added some padding on the foot plate and arch for more comfort. And the last thing that I did was adding an instep strap coming from inside the AFO to prevent my patient from pronating inside the orthosis. Honestly, that was a good call. And that's a wrap on my very first time making an AFO for a patient. Goodbye!